Cody Garbrandt versus TJ Dillashaw. This needs some backstory, and it begins at Team Alpha Male, a gym founded by former UFC fighter Uriah Faber. This team had many talented fighters, but no one was able to win a UFC belt. That changed when Duane Ludwig took over as head coach. Under his guidance, the fighters improved significantly, going on a 17-fight win streak. However, there were tensions between Ludwig and Faber. Ludwig eventually decided to leave and start his own gym in Colorado. Despite this, one fighter stood out, and his name was TJ Dillashaw. He became the first member of Team Alpha Male to win a UFC belt. His victory, however, only escalated tensions at the gym. Ludwig and Faber argued over who was more responsible for Dillashaw's success. When a rematch was set between Dillashaw and Renan Barão, Dillashaw chose to follow Ludwig to his new gym. This felt like a deep betrayal to Faber and the rest of Team Alpha Male. This is where Cody Garbrandt comes in, a promising young fighter also training at Team Alpha Male. He quickly rose through the ranks, making a name for himself with his striking ability and knockout power. Unlike Dillashaw, Garbrandt remained loyal to Team Alpha Male and took Faber's side in the ongoing feud. So now you have two former teammates who hate each other, and the UFC wanting to cash in on this quickly set up a match. Leading up to the fight, Cody went hard with the trash talk. He straight up called TJ a snake and said he wasn't loyal to anyone. And during their time as opposing coaches on The Ultimate Fighter, the tension boiled over. At one point, Cody grabbed TJ by the throat during an argument.
What? Bitch, how am I fake?
Cody was confident, fired up, and looking to end TJ in front of the world. And at first, it looked like he might. He dropped TJ in the first round and had the crowd on their feet, but TJ bounced back. In round 2, he hit Cody with a nasty right hand that dropped him for good. Then they ran it back a year later, with Dillashaw beating Cody even faster. All that build-up, all the fire and aggression, and it was TJ who came out on top twice. Anderson Silva versus Chael Sonnen. Before McGregor showed up, Chael was the best trash talker, and when he got booked to fight Anderson Silva, he went crazy. Silva was the long-reigning middleweight champ at the time. Nobody could touch him. Not only that, but he was also calm and composed, the type of guy nobody could rattle, except for Chael. Chael had no filter. In one interview, he said he was going to go to Silva's house and slap his wife on the ass if she doesn't cook him a medium rare steak. He called Anderson a fraud and a liar, and even said his black belt was worth less than a Happy Meal toy.
We don't have to fight. I issued him in writing, I sent it over my demands. He leave the UFC for no less than 12 months. He issued an apology to the fans. Simple things. And he erected a statue in my likeness in his living room that he bowed to each evening. He didn't accept them.
It was hilarious and had everyone glued to the build-up. But what made this trash talk different was that Chael actually backed it up, for most of the fight at least. He dominated Silva for over 4 rounds, landed takedowns, stayed on top, and tore him up. The whole world was watching in shock as the champ looked completely helpless. Then came the final minutes of round 5. Silva, cool under pressure like always, pulled off one of the slickest triangle chokes you'll ever see from the bottom. He locked it in tight, and Chael had no choice but to tap. After all that domination, all that trash talk, Chael ended up losing right at the finish line. Conor McGregor versus Nate Diaz. After knocking out Aldo in just 13 seconds to become the featherweight champ, Conor McGregor had one thing on his mind, and that is to become a double champ. So he moved up to lightweight to challenge RDA for the belt. But when RDA pulled out with an injury, Nate stepped in on short notice. Conor went full McGregor mode. He called Nate every name in the book and made it seem like he was doing him a favor by even fighting him.
Dance for me, Nate. Dance for me. And don't look me in the eye when you dance. Your little gazelle friends are going to be staring through the cage, looking at you, getting your carcass getting eaten alive. He's like a little cholo gangster from the hood. He makes gun signs with the right hand and animal balloons with the left hand.
Nate just sat there taking it all in. It was like when your dad's yelling at you and all you can do is sit there and take it. But once the cage door shut, it was time to let the hands do the talking. Conor came out swinging in round 1, fast and flashy, landing clean shots. But in round 2, everything changed. Nate cracked Conor with a clean combo, wobbled him, then dragged him to the ground and choked him out. Just like that, the double champ dream hit a wall. This was Conor's first UFC loss. Ben Askren versus Jorge Masvidal. When Ben Askren finally made it to the UFC, he wasted no time showing everyone how much he loved to talk trash. He came in loud, cocky, undefeated, and started calling out anyone with a name. After his super controversial win over Robbie Lawler, the UFC lined him up with Jorge Masvidal, and that's when he really cranked up the trash talk. Ben clowned on Jorge non-stop in the lead-up. He said Masvidal was scared, and acted like beating him would be easy work. In one interview, he even said he beat Masvidal in training before, and could finish him any way he wanted once fight night came around.
George, just tell the people, are you scared? If you're scared, I will move on to somebody else. Stop being a chicken and just say yes.
Jorge didn't say much. He let Ben do all the talking. Then came the fight, and Jorge finished him in just 5 seconds. As soon as the fight started, Jorge sprinted across the octagon and hit Ben with a flying knee. Ben was out cold before he even hit the mat. Just like that, Jorge broke the record for the fastest knockout in UFC history with 5 seconds. That moment instantly turned Jorge into a superstar and sent Ben's career into a downward spiral. If there's one fight that proves how badly trash talk can backfire, it's this one. Ben became a record. Conor versus Khabib. If there was ever a fight fueled entirely by trash talk and tension, it was this fight. This wasn't just about belts or rankings, this was personal as it can get. Leading up to the fight, Khabib confronted one of McGregor's teammates in a Brooklyn hotel for disrespectful comments he made online. This set off a chain reaction, causing McGregor and his team of 30 to fly from Ireland and attack a bus carrying Khabib and several other fighters. Conor can be seen throwing a dolly through the window, which injured a bunch of fighters. Shortly after, Conor and his team could be seen running out of the parking lot, with Khabib posting a video asking for his location.
Send me a message, like location, I'm gonna come. Whatever you want, doesn't matter. Ireland, New York, Brooklyn, or Moscow, doesn't matter. Tell me.
This led to McGregor's arrest, multiple charges, and a legal battle, but luckily he reached a plea deal and avoided jail time. In press conferences, Conor unleashed a non-stop wave of insults. He went after Khabib's team, country, family, religion, and everything else.
You're a phony, a fake, and I'm gonna expose you. Now you're up on the real shit, kid. You're with the real dogs now, brother, yeah? And you're gonna be smoked October 6th.
But Khabib wasn't having it. He barely said a word back. When fight night came, Khabib let his hands in grappling do the talking. He cooked Conor from the start. McGregor had a few moments here and there, but the control from Khabib was on another level. In round 4, Khabib locked in a neck crank and made Conor tap. And just when you thought it was over, chaos broke out. Khabib jumped the cage and went after McGregor's team, while his team jumped in the octagon to fight Conor. But despite the post-fight madness, one thing was clear. Conor talked more trash than anyone ever had, and Khabib shut him down in the most dominant way possible. Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier. After losing to Dustin by TKO in their second fight, Conor came into the trilogy with a completely different vibe. This time he flipped the switch and went full villain again. Trash talk, insults, personal shots, everything. He also went after his wife, calling her names and even accusing her of sliding into his DMs. He went all in on Dustin and said Dustin's last win was a fluke and that the real McGregor was back to take over. He promised to kill Dustin in the cage and leave him on a stretcher.
Win by KO?
KO, out on a stretcher.
But once the cage door closed, Conor ended up on a stretcher. Dustin had the upper hand early, landed clean shots, checked Conor's kicks, and stayed calm. As the first round was coming to an end, Conor stepped back awkwardly and snapped his leg. Just like that, the fight was over. It wasn't just a loss, it was embarrassing. The guy who said he'd kill Dustin left the octagon in a stretcher.
He's a corpse, a dead body, a blank face. It's gonna get his ass whooped and took out on a stretcher.
Dominick Cruz versus Cody Garbrandt. Going into UFC 207, Cruz was on top of the world. He'd already beat some of the best in the division, reclaimed his title from TJ Dillashaw, and was seen as one of the most technical and intelligent fighters in MMA. So when Cody Garbrandt got the title shot, without even beating a top 5 guy, most people, including Cruz, saw it as a mismatch. Cruz didn't hold back. He clowned Cody's lack of experience, saying he wasn't ready and that he was going to embarrass him.
So keep your fling on the string, keep your mouth shut, because this is big boy business.
Welcome across there right now, dude. You're a room away.
Go ahead, come over here.
Yeah.
Come on, turd. Let's go.
Unhook me.
Oh, I hope he comes. Bring it. Come on, come on.
Yeah.
Come on. You coming? You coming, little boy?
At one point, Cruz told him, "You're going to be swinging at air all night." He was so confident he said he was going to make an example out of him. When fight night rolled around, Cody didn't just win, he dominated. He taunted him mid-fight and even dropped him a couple times. It was like Cody flipped the script entirely. He put on one of the slickest performances we've seen in a title fight. What made it worse was the fact that Cruz talked like Cody didn't belong in the cage with him, and then the opposite happened. It was a massive L for Cruz and a star-making moment for Garbrandt. Justin Gaethje versus James Vick. When Justin came into the UFC, the dude was on fire. 17 wins, no losses, and a reputation for throwing down. But after he lost 2 fights in a row, everyone thought he was just hype. That's when James Vick saw his chance to jump in and make a name for himself. At the press conference, Vick went crazy. He said Justin was sloppy and couldn't hang with him. He was treating Justin like some random street fighter. At one point, he said Justin had no defense, no brain, and that he'd be asleep within 3 rounds.
I fought 4 times in the last year, and I won my fights. You lost 2 out of 3. You suck, dude. I'm not the Homer Simpson of MMA like you are, bro. I'm not going to take a beating, but you will get knocked the out. You're going to get knocked out within 3 rounds for sure.
On fight night, Justin didn't wait 3 rounds. He made Vick pay and knocked him out in 90 seconds. That fight derailed his momentum in a major way, while Justin became a star. Luke Rockhold versus Michael Bisping. When Luke Rockhold won the UFC middleweight belt, he looked unstoppable. His first title defense was against Chris Weidman, but Chris pulled out due to an injury. That's when Bisping got the call to fight him, with just a 2 weeks notice. Luke had already beaten Bisping a few years earlier, so everyone figured this would be an easy fight for him. Luke thought the same. He treated Bisping like a joke. He called Bisping average and said he was going to knock him out easy. Michael had already lost vision in one of his eyes due to an old injury, and Luke promised to close the other one too.
Bisping, I'm going to close both those eyes for you.
When it was time to fight, Bisping came in with zero pressure and everything to gain. He stayed calm and caught Luke with a left hook that wobbled him, followed up with another clean shot, and just like that, Rockhold was out cold in the first round. It wasn't just a win for Bisping, it was revenge. He had spent years climbing the ladder, always coming up short, and here he was, finally getting his title shot on short notice and cashing in the biggest way possible. Alistar Overim versus Bigfoot Silva. Alistar Overim has always had that big boss energy. By the time he got to the UFC, he had already crushed it in other promotions. In his UFC debut, he cooked Brock Lesnar like it was nothing. So when he got matched up with Antonio Silva, people thought it was going to be another walk in the park for him, and Overim talked like it. He basically dismissed Bigfoot in every interview and said he was better than him in every way possible. But Silva wasn't having it. During the face-off, Silva was clearly pissed off at the disrespect.
Silva kept pushing up against him and getting in his face closer. So I tried to stop him. And Silva said, you better start respecting me. And then he said, I'm going to have to destroy you.
When the fight night came, the first 2 rounds were a little back and forth, but in round 3, Silva flipped the switch. He went full savage mode, rocked Overeem with massive punches, and then swarmed him until the ref had to save him. After Overeem collapsed against the cage, Silva screamed in his face, telling him to stand up.